Are you looking for a new microphone for your stream and you're just not sure what to go with? If so, stay tuned because we're going to be talking about microphones for streaming and some of the things that people just don't understand and don't take into consideration whenever they pick a good microphone for streaming. Roll that intro. What's going on, guys? Chad here from How To Tech, the channel dedicated to helping you take your tech to the next level. And today we're going to be mainly talking about the differences between condenser microphones and dynamic microphones. This is something that when I learned, it was so eye-opening for me. And I typically didn't have some of these problems, but I know tons of people that deal with quite a few problems. And the main one I'm going to mention is background noise. And that's kind of what this main purpose of this video is kind of focused towards, is helping people make those right decisions depending on the environment that they are using their microphone in. So if you have a perfectly treated room, a condenser microphone might be great for you. If you don't have any background noise and you don't have any distractions or anything like that, that might be a great option. But in other instances, a dynamic microphone is going to be great. And we'll talk about, more of the reasons why. We'll do a few comparisons between the two different type of microphones and see what they pick up. A good example that we could use to describe a dynamic microphone is like a stage mic. And the reason why these mics are so good is because they don't pick up an audience, they don't pick up other people. For instance, a vocalist could be singing into the microphone and it's not picking up the rest of the band or the crowd, and it isolates what you want to be projected through the microphone. So this is why a dynamic microphone is going to be really good. I don't know if you guys have noticed with some of my past videos, I've actually moved over to using a dynamic microphone more than a condenser because I have a very loud air conditioner heater unit in my wall over here in the studio. And when I use a condenser microphone, it picks up absolutely everything and the audio is just trashed at that point. A dynamic microphone actually reduces pretty much any of the background noise. We're not picking up hardly anything that we don't want to, and it's gonna give us cleaner audio. So without further ado, let's kind of jump over into a few comparisons between those. I'll give some recommendations on equipment, and I will give you guys some good resources of where you can try to figure out whether you need a condenser microphone or a dynamic microphone. And there's other microphones out there, obviously, that might be helpful as well for your live stream. But I just want to go ahead and reiterate. Do not buy a microphone just because somebody tells you it's good. Do some research, figure out the recording area that you're going to be working in, and try to make sure you're picking the best microphone for you, not just because you watch somebody that makes thousands of dollars, spend $500 on a microphone, and they say, this is the best microphone out there. Don't do that. Do your research, buy a product that's going to be good for you and worth your money. And yeah, let's go ahead and jump over to the computer, take a look at some mics, and do all of that other cool stuff. All right, so now we're gonna go ahead and take a look at these two microphones, talk about them a bit, do some audio tests, and then see what is currently available on the market that I would possibly recommend, whether you're wanting to go cardioid or dynamic. So let's get started with what these microphones are. This right here is the Shure PGA48 cardioid dynamic microphone. The cardioid is the pickup pattern. Dynamic is specifically the type of microphone it is, and it's going to pick up stuff that's a lot more closer to it, as opposed to this microphone, which is going to pick up absolutely everything. And this microphone right here is the Audio-Technica ATR 2500 USB cardioid condenser USB microphone. So this one's running over USB, this one's running over XLR. There are some pros and cons to both of them. The cons of USB are going to be it's not as flexible, but it's super easy to plug up and get going. The cons to an XLR microphone is you're probably going to have some kind of mixer or an audio interface to run it through. There are some rudimentary, kind of basic ways that we can get to have this microphone work. They make these little XLR to USB converters, but last time I looked at them, the price range that they follow in, I would probably just go ahead and suggest an affordable audio interface, and we'll talk about that and what I'm running, because I never run top of the line stuff, and I just want that to be thrown out there. I run what I can afford, and I try to make it as cost effective to me as possible, because I'm not trying to spend tons of money, but I'm trying to get decent quality out of stuff. And I think that's where a lot of you can relate to me in that regard. So without further ado, let's go ahead and do a simple little audio test, and we'll do it first on the cardioid dynamic microphone, and then we'll do it on the cardioid condenser microphone. What's going on, guys? Chad here from How To Tech, the channel dedicated to helping you take your tech to the next level. And today we're going to be testing some dynamic and some condenser microphones. What's going on, guys? Chad here from How To Tech, the channel dedicated to helping you take your tech to the next level. And today we're going to be testing some dynamic and some condenser microphones. All right, so hopefully you get a better understanding between the dynamic and the condenser. The dynamic is going to obviously isolate and it's going to sound a lot more controlled, and your condenser is going to be picking up a lot more room noise, reverb, and things of that nature. This microphone is definitely a great microphone, and I wouldn't have spent money on it if I didn't think so. And with the dynamic, the same as well. It is honestly a $34 microphone, and it is not the best dynamic microphone out there. It just gets you going really fast at a very affordable price. This, on the other hand, I could not find pricing for the ATR 2500 anymore. I don't think Audio-Technica makes it. So with that being said, if we were to compare it to probably something else that you guys would probably pick up, it would have to probably be this ATR 2500X, which is probably pretty similar to this microphone right here. The only difference I could see from it is that it's black and the front housing on it is slightly different. It still has the buttons and the audio jack for it for your microphone monitoring, like we can see on here. It just is a little bit different. So now I want to go ahead and do an audio test, but with some actual background noise. So I'm going to turn on the heater unit over here, and we're going to see how loud it gets, whether or not this microphone picks it up a lot or whether or not this one does. I am already pretty certain I know what's going to happen, but let's just go ahead and get to that test. What's going on, guys? Chad here from How To Tech, the channel dedicated to helping you take your tech to the next level. And today we're going to be testing out cardioid, dynamic, and condenser microphones and seeing which is possibly going to be better for streamers with a lot of background noise. What's going on, guys? Chad here from How To Tech, the channel dedicated to helping you take your tech to the next level. And today we're going to be testing out cardioid, dynamic, and condenser microphones and seeing which is possibly going to be better for streamers with a lot of background noise. All right, so now we've done our audio test, you've probably got more of a feel for these different microphones, and you're probably able to tell that this microphone right here is picking up a lot more noise whenever something like an AC unit's on, as opposed to this one right here. And I have to say as well, if you have kids in your room or near you while you're streaming or even recording audio, this is gonna be the way to go. Whenever I am sometimes over here recording or even just talking to people on Discord, I'll have my son in here and he'll be sitting right at this seat right here behind me, and they won't hear him at all while he's playing video games and having fun and all that cool stuff. And it's just really convenient that it offers that flexibility for you. And yes, I mean, that is what these microphones are made for. They're meant to be on a stage and reducing background noise and not picking up other audio unless it's directly in front of it. And I think that is the main benefit of a microphone like this, and why I would recommend it to you if you have a problem with background noise. So now let's talk costs. So we briefly talked about this microphone here being $34 and this one being about 120 bucks. If you know that you're going to be in an environment ever where you're going to be using these microphones and background noise is going to be an absolute killer for you, I would highly recommend going with the dynamic microphone. And I do have to say $34 is not going to be all that you're going to be spending on it, and we'll talk about that briefly. But let's talk about these microphones and see where they kind of stack up to explain why I might recommend spending 20 to 30, even maybe 60 extra dollars on a setup for this microphone instead of going with something like this. I don't use this microphone pretty much at all anymore, just due to the environment I typically record in. So this is 120 bucks. This is going to be a plug and play. That is the end of your expense there. Now, I do have to say, I probably would not go with this cheap plastic desktop stand, because if you're playing video games and stuff like that, it's going to be right in front of your keyboard, which means it's going to pick it up a lot. We might even do just a quick test right now of keyboards. Let's just throw that in right now of me typing on a keyboard and seeing what they pick up, just so you guys can get an idea for that too. All right, so little bit more of testing. My keyboard's not that loud. I actually have a membrane mechanical keyboard. It's not as great to type on as a mechanical, but if you're a gamer out there and use a mechanical keyboard, it will pick up everything. A condenser microphone's going to. This right here, from my experience, even whenever I used to have a mechanical keyboard out here, it was not picking it up absolutely at all. Now, this membrane mechanical keyboard doesn't tend to make that as much of an issue for me, but if that is the route you plan on going, is purchasing an audio system for live streaming, and you know that you have a very loud mechanical keyboard, this also might not be an option for you. Now, there are options where I would suggest this microphone, and we'll talk about that more at the end of this video. But yeah, let's look at the price points once again. So this is going to be for a USB setup. This means you're going to buy this microphone, and there's really not that many options of upgrade once you buy this. Yes, you can buy a stand to put this microphone on. I would recommend possibly purchasing something other than what's sitting on your desk. Go ahead and buy like a little microphone arm like I have for this microphone right here, and just set it off to the side, have your microphone leaned in. It's always out of shot. It looks really clean, and it's honestly great. So I would recommend that. That could add anywhere from $30 to $50 more to this setup. But yes, it's going to be a price that has to go with this microphone, in my opinion, anyway, because there's no way I'd ever set this microphone directly on top of my desk. So we're at anywhere from $120 to $150 right now. And you can get a little bit more carried away with that by buying a windscreen or a pop filter or something to help cool down those plosives. If you don't know what that is, that's the sound it makes whenever you go puh, 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 or buh, 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 or anything like that. It's essentially pushing air over the diaphragm of the microphone. And then if we were to move into more of a premium setup of where you're pushing audio out into an audio interface or a mixer, then you're going to be looking at $150 without a stand or anything like that. And that's where it kind of gets me, of where I would not recommend this. But if you have great audio treatment in your room, you don't have to worry about background noise. You want to be that person where on stream you kind of rage a little bit and get up and you start yelling and you want to be in the background and people hear you. This might be a great option. I don't want to knock it for some people because I think it is honestly great. And there are some great packages by Audio-Technica even that aren't that expensive. This is $199 and you get a really good pair of headphones, a microphone, and a stand for it. Now, I have to say, from my experience, these type of stands are pretty awful. I've had 2 of them and they have all been trashed at this point. They just always tend to have some kind of issues, and it's because I'm adjusting them all the time because I feel like they're always in my shot and in my way of my screens. That's why I would recommend an actual microphone stand, and then you can just, tie that microphone into it, and works really, really well. So what would I recommend? Well, I would recommend this Shure PGA 48 cardioid dynamic microphone, and I would have to recommend something else with it actually. And what I would recommend with this microphone is, if you got the money, maybe throw an extra $5 at it and get a microphone windscreen. This is going to work out great for you. And then something like this on stage boom arm. And these are actually 2 items I actually bought for mine. This is, $5.95. This is going to be $29.95. Sweetwater is absolutely amazing. I buy all my audio equipment from them now. I've just had such good interactions with them. They're awesome people. They reach out to you after you make an order. This video is not sponsored by them, but I just want to mention that if you guys have any equipment that you need to be buying at some point in time, check out Sweetwater. They got some awesome deals. And I actually bought this exact boom arm from them, this windscreen, and this microphone. And then you would need an XLR cable. They've got some pretty cheap ones for about anywhere from $5, I think, to $12. And then the only other thing you would need is an audio interface. So let me go ahead and pull one of those up and show you about how much that would cost as well. So if I was to have to recommend this dynamic microphone setup, I would suggest the Focusrite Scarlett Solo 3rd Gen USB audio interface. And if you don't know what an audio interface is, that's fine, because I honestly didn't know for quite a while. And if you're not dealing with audio at more of an enthusiast level, you might not know a lot about this. But what this essentially is this is a way for your XLR microphone that you can see right here. This is the input for it, and then there's a USB on the back, and it runs out into your computer, and it lets this microphone interface or talk with your computer, and it's going to give you great sounding audio. And then you're also going to have the option right here to plug your headphones into it. Now that uses a 1/4-inch jack, and that is like an adapter you can buy for literally $2 to $5 or something like that, and you can plug your headphones directly in there. and adjust all of your audio to come straight back out through that. And it is a super awesome thing to do. It gives you great quality audio and it's very affordable. Now, you might be saying, man, this is $109.99 just for something to let my microphone talk through. And I agree with you, but if you can hear the quality of this audio with a $34 microphone that I'm currently plugged into it with, you might have to ask yourself, is it worth it? Because I think so. And I'm going to tell you all the stuff that I would recommend getting for this setup to make it proper and how much it would cost. And that cost is actually going to be $192.84. And comparing that to something like this, that does include the XLR microphone, does include a headphones for it, which that's not something we include in our cost, but this is just a kit. And then it includes the XLR cable, a mic stand, and the microphone. It's going to be $100.99 or $199.00. And in my opinion, this is a decent setup, but this is not what I would recommend for you if you have problems with background audio. What I would recommend is this right here. You would get this Focusrite. This would connect to your computer. You'd buy this cable right here, and then this cable would allow you to connect to your microphone. And then, your microphone's just kind of out there in midair. You just got a cable on your microphone. You don't want to sit there and hold it the whole time. So then I would recommend this mic stand and this windscreen. And you can also change that to be black. You could have it to be blue, whatever color you want. They've got different options. You want it to look like a clown nose, you could do that. But you have a lot of options there. And this is going to be that whole setup. All these things I just showed you, including the mic stand and a windscreen and stuff like that. And that's going to be actually cheaper than this setup right here. And this does not include an audio interface. Like I mentioned earlier, there are ways of buying like a USB, an XLR to USB adapter. That is fine, but you're not going to have near as good audio as if it actually went through a audio interface. So what I would recommend to you guys is, if you have the money and you are having problems with background audio, go with the dynamic microphone. If not, maybe a condenser microphone actually might be good for you. So yeah, now that we've looked at both of these microphones and talked about them a little bit, let's go ahead and jump over to the conclusion. And also, while you're at it and you're listening to it, let me know your mic setups down below. That way, you can talk about what's worked for you and what hasn't, and what experiences you have faced while streaming or making YouTube videos of issues and problems with audio. So in conclusion, yes, I'd have to still recommend condenser microphones to certain people, dynamic microphones to other people, and there are use cases for pretty much any type of microphone that's out there. You just need to do the research to figure out which one's going to work best for you. But to keep it very basic, if you have a well-treated room with not much sound going on in it and no distractions of audio from wherever, and you don't have to worry about trying to cut out background noise, a condenser microphone might give you a more full sound. And if you do have those issues of background noise, a dynamic microphone might be the way to go, because you might have the option to help reduce that interference or background noise of the hum of a refrigerator, or maybe an AC unit or a fan, or whatever else might be causing those audio issues for you. But yeah, go ahead, do your research, figure out which works best for you. And then also make sure to keep in mind that a condenser microphone that sounds really good with person A's voice might not sound as good with person B's voice, and try to do a little bit of comparison between different microphones that you decide to go with, whether that's a condenser or a dynamic, and try to find one that sounds really good with a similar type of voice to you. And just to make that very basic as well, you tend to have lower voices, which are very deep, and then you might have a higher sounding voice that might not have much bass to it, might sound a little more thin. If that's the case, make sure you go ahead and do your research to get the best microphone for you. Once again, I'm gonna leave resources down below of people who do really good microphone reviews. My favorite has to be Podcastage. He does absolutely great videos and covers microphones thoroughly to make you feel like you're making the right decision with your money whenever you go to purchase one. Check out Bandrew. I'm gonna link him down below. And yeah, overall great channel, really cool guy, and super funny. So yeah, guys, that's gonna be all for this video. If you enjoyed, you know what to do. Go ahead and destroy that like button and get subscribed here to How To Tech if you guys aren't already. And also, think about turning on notifications for more videos kind of like this one, and we'll talk about streaming stuff, audio, video. We're gonna cover tons of stuff. Our videos are geared towards helping people with technology, and we have really been trying to tackle the content creation side, whether that is streaming or YouTube and all that other stuff. So Big thanks to you guys. Also, a big thanks to our Discord community. There are tons of people over there, and you guys are awesome for, checking out videos as soon as they go live as well, and just helping other people out on our community Discord. If you want to support the channel financially, we have a Patreon linked down below. Big thanks to our patrons for help supporting the channel even further. And if you guys want to check me out playing games from time to time, my stream will be linked down below as well. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. This has been Chad from How To Tech, helping you guys take your tech to the next level, and I'll see you guys in the next video.